It really is hard to understand exactly what we're seeing when we're seeing it. Um, what I'm noticing a lot is this idea that Harry is dropping a truth bomb. Harry will forever destroy the relationship with his brother. Harry is risking expanding the rift between he and his brother, the family, and Charles and such. If you ask me, Prince Charles has a bigger problem than what Harry says. His biggest problem is the fact that his heir and his eldest son is the one that's going around saying that Princess Diana was delusional. The reason why that's problematic for Charles is the fact that William is only drawing closer attention to the Panorama interview. And I mentioned in another video why I think that that was a crucial example of William overstepping the mark. And that's because it could only hurt Charles. And eventually it could lead to Charles being pressured to step down as the Prince of Wales and, of course, the heir to the throne, making a way for William. And if you would have asked me a year ago, I would have thought, nah, that's impossible. Charles has been waiting his whole life for that throne. But what seems impossible all of a sudden seems like a very plausible reality. Much to the disappointment of Charles, I'm sure. But Charles and Camilla have been noticeably absent. And even though there are other members of the royal family who could do some of this work, like, for instance, the Wessexes. The Wessexes am I saying that right? The Wessexes. The Wessex family, the Count of the Count of Pennywise and Ford Fiesta, they could do some of this work. But for some reason, if they are doing something, I haven't seen any notice of them. And then, of course, there's Beatrice and Eugenie. I know they have private jobs. I know they are both newly married. But there's things that they could do. But for whatever reason, this brand Cambridge is being pushed over and over and over again. I mean, it's like they're forcing them down our throats. It's all Cambridge all the time with the UK media. And it's as though they're running for president or something. I have to say bravo to them because I didn't think they had it in them, but obviously when the going gets tough, the Cambridges get going. So they're out there and they're beating the pavement and exhausting themselves, worrying their hair out, trying to create this image for themselves. So I say bravo to them. I mean, all hard work should be rewarded, but I think the reward this time is a kingdom. Aside from that, along with the, shall we say, rather provocative attacks on Harry, and this is an affrontment, it is an attack on his character by insisting that these truth bombs are somehow hurting the family. That's just a distraction. That is, look at the shiny Sussex over there. They don't care what Harry's doing, not directly, but this helps to bolster the image of the Cambridges. And so Harry, in his very calm and relaxed tone, is pretty much going about his business. But in the meantime, there's some type of plot brewing over there with the royal family. I could just imagine the conversations that people are having with William that they're not having with Charles, as though they're waiting for some signal that it's okay to switch your loyalties exclusively to Camp Cambridge. And as for Charles, well, see you, nice knowing you. I don't know what this means, but it is rather interesting for the future of the monarchy. Now, mind you, I have no dog in this fight because it's really, I'm an American. It doesn't matter to me. But it is interesting, and I'm enjoying the soap opera. As long as they're not hurting the Sussexes, I really don't care. I'm just waiting for the next season of The Crown. But the Count of Wessex, if I'm saying it right, they could roll him out there in one of his military suits. So what if he's only spent 4 months in the service? So what? Long as he can wear the suit and do his royal duties, then, And then, of course, Ford Fiesta, there's been many times where she's been seen about accompanying the Queen. She's like one of the Queen's favorites now. She could do some of the work, but instead they seem to be leaning on the Cambridges. I think that's a big mistake for them. Not that I'm trying to help them, but that's a lot of work for a couple of people that are just kind of used to hanging out at Amber Hall and telling the cooks what to make for dinner. And we don't want Kate to get tired. According to the Tatler, she was exhausted from having a house full of servants. So I don't know. Just tell me what you think about all this. And see, one of the reasons why I'm so concerned is the fact that this is spilling over into the U.S. media. Like, for instance, they had some right-wing person from, God, what was she, Fox News? Where was she from? All I know is that she was on television with one of those Carnival wagons. Carnival wagons. If you don't know what that is, that's like a drink wagon. It's very circa mid-century 1950s. Well, anyway, in her living room, it appeared like she had this cart full of empties. And I'm just like, God, not only are we worried about Prince Charles, but we're going to have to do an intervention on this chick on TV. She seemed to be unhinged in some kind of way, but anyway, the idea of getting an American on television to bash the Sussexes was too tempting for Good Morning Britain, so they had her on there anyway. If she had some issue with sobriety, I don't know, but all I know is there was a whole cart full of empties over her left shoulder. And it's so alarming that she was kind of bashing Harry for speaking about mental health, and from from what I can tell, she was the one that needs help. And I don't know if you ever seen that movie from, I guess it was the 50s, maybe it was an English movie, The Children of the Damned, how they had that kind of blank stare on their face. That's what this chick was giving me. She had like this kind of blankness about her. Criticize the Sussexes. Criticize the Sussexes. Girl, what are you doing? Who's your overlords? Who's paying you for this? I'm just saying that there seems to be some kind of effort to make people look at the Sussexes, think about the Sussexes, and let's ignore what's going on back home. Are they using this to further their Brexit agenda? Are they using this to bolster William's image? William went on television and literally said his mom was nuts. He said she was paranoid and delusional. in so many words, not directly, but in so many words. I just would have never, ever in my life had considered that her eldest son would have thrown her under the bus like that. Now, Martin Bashir, I mean, that little weasel, who wouldn't want to throw him under the bus? I mean, he's just not a very likable person, so that's not surprising. But then there's Diana's brother, Charles Spencer. He just changes with the wind. You know, he doesn't seem to have much loyalty, not to his sister, but now all of a sudden he's got all kind of loyalty for the firm. So you can't trust him. You know, he doesn't seem like an honest broker where this whole Panorama thing is concerned. He says 2 years after the day I spoke to Martin Bashir, that's a direct line to my sister's death. And you're saying this openly? Just like you said in the documentary that your sister allegedly asked to return to the family seat, the family home, the home of the Spencer family for years. She asked to return to Althorpe, and you said no. Is that a direct line too? I mean, you're implicating yourself in so many ways, and it doesn't seem like you can hear yourself saying it. That's strange to me. That's a strange relationship Diana had with her brother. I mean, I thought he was a pretty nice guy when he kind of told off the royal family at Diana's funeral. But since then, if I remember, he was living in South Africa for a while. So he wasn't really connected to the estate until his father passed away. And then all of a sudden, he's all over the place. So that was so strange for him to say that. So look at the shiny Sussex over there. But whatever you do, don't pay attention to anything that they're doing on that island. And I feel like they're using the Sussexes. It just seems to me like this whole distraction is to bolster William's image, to push this right-wing nationalist agenda back home, and to somehow to shame Charles into stepping down or never stepping up to the throne. Which, as I said before, Charles is not going to have an easy time of it. Charles was depending on William and Harry to legitimize his monarchy. Not that he wouldn't have naturally ascended to the throne, but to give it an air of legitimacy while his former mistress is sitting over his shoulder as the queen consort. I don't think that has registered with people, the queen consort. Now, they spent thousands of pounds to try to reform the Duchess of Cornwall's image. You know she is the actual Princess of Wales. The Duchess of Cornwall is the Princess of Wales. That's her real title. She doesn't use it for obvious reasons because it would be like suicide. I mean, it just would not make sense for her to use that title because we need to disassociate ourselves from Camilla Parker Bowles, the former mistress, the great-granddaughter of that, what was her great-grandmother's name? Edith Kettle, the one who had an affair with one of the other kings. We have to disassociate ourselves from that and think of this as being modern times and a very modern Camilla. That almost sounds redundant, doesn't it? A modern Camilla. This chick has been rocking this Farrah Fawcett hair since the first week that Charlie's Angels premiered on television. I mean, she's had that same hair. That alone is a scandal. But I digress. So yeah, I'm uncomfortable because I don't like the Sussexes being used this way. And I feel like they're being exploited, especially Harry, when he has an opportunity to do so much good in this world. And yet we are encouraged from this flood of PR from the firm to look at that beacon of light, William's head, and not the good that the Sussexes are doing. I mean, for goodness sakes, look at what they've done with Vax Live. Look at what they've done by opening up that kitchen in India. There's so much good that is coming out of Montecito, but we're not supposed to pay attention to that because there is like this vacuum of oxygen at these Cambridge characters all of a sudden who decided that it's 2021. I guess we'll have to get up and do some work now. They don't even want to share it with the Wessexes. Yeah, so anyway, that's just my thought. I'm just kind of like continuing my thoughts from the video from yesterday because I'm telling you, I'm still drinking coffee and my mind is flooded with possibilities. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm always thinking about how these things could affect the Sussexes, as we all should. Speaking of Sussex, tomorrow, today is the Sussex Squad podcast. You don't want to miss that. I've already set my reminder, so I will be there, and I hope you will be there also. Last week was phenomenal. 4 hours of it, and Tina actually said good morning to me, so that maybe that's why I'm feeling in high spirits, is because I'm telling you, I have gotten more mileage out of Tina saying what she said to me, that my feet still are not touching the ground. Anyway, I will be there in the chats. I hope you all will be there too. Have a fine good morning. Enjoy the Sussex Squad podcast. And to all the members of the Sussex Squad, have a happy Memorial Day weekend. I'll see you guys. Oh, don't forget to like and share.